And welcome back, everyone. It is time. I gave it an extra day simply because I had to work yesterday and I'd have all of the afternoon off to do this. So we are here with the first Q&A of 2026. And as always, I'm drinking, not an adult beverage today. I'm having a little acid reflux issues today, so trust me, if you don't have acid reflux, God bless you. Acid reflux combined with alcohol, ooh, that's nasty. And it's been a little it's been particularly a little active. So drinking a nice, friendly, refreshing seltzer. Black cherry. So, with that being said, we are here for the Q&A, and let's just get into it. There's no point in just dilly-dallying around here. All right, from Chris Dash, one of technically 20, dude, but it's fine. It's not fine. Sorry, it's one of 16, actually. Still, I'm joking. It's fine. Okay, so from Chris Dash, out of curiosity, do you think that A, Deathstroke, Bane, and Vandal Savage could be great villains for Wolverine? Actually, honestly, all three of those aren't bad choices. Vandal Savage, honestly, you have kind of a Vandal Savage in the Marvel Universe already with Romulus. He is similar to Wolverine in many ways, and he even came back with the whole Adamantine storyline. So you kind of already have a Vandal Savage type character, someone who's immortal, similar to Wolverine, but honestly more effective than Wolverine. Although Vandal Savage immortality kind of wanes depending on it varies. Like sometimes he has to replace organs with descendants. It's very weird. Bane, I'll be honest, Bane I don't see. Bane works better as weirdly enough, as a Daredevil villain because I could still see him being someone that Wolverine would fight occasionally, but in terms of part of his rogues gallery, I don't see him being a Batman villain. A Wolverine villain. He'd be too easy for Wolverine to really just beat is the problem. Because unfortunately for Bane, I don't think the whole Nightfall plane would work on someone like Wolverine, but someone like Daredevil, honestly, I think Bane would be a really good Daredevil villain. And then Deathstroke is the one I definitely see could be a very good villain for Wolverine as well. Not the Murder Mount, sorry, the Terminator as he's called. An assassin probably could have met Wolverine back in the day, could have seen Wolverine and be like, oh, that guy's dangerous. Has kind of like old war enemies kind of thing, having respect for each other. You okay, puppy? You just getting comfortable? So there's the answer to that. 2, do you think Lex Luthor and Sinestro could be great villains for Thor? Sinestro, no. Again, weirdly enough, because of his nature, Sinestro, if he wasn't so powerful, could be a good Daredevil, the man without fear. Thor faces more cosmic level entities. He usually, or individuals who are kind of tailored to Thor, like Absorbing Man is more tailored to Thor because he can absorb powers from Mjolnir. Lex Luthor, ultimately, I don't also see as a good fit for Thor, just because there are many godlike figures in the DC universe, in the Marvel universe, and many that stay on Earth more often than Thor does. And that's the thing. Thor leaves. Thor's not pretending to be a man or God among men. He is just a God among men. He's not living among them as a normal person most of the time, if not all the time. Whereas Superman does, and that's one of the reasons that Lex Luthor hates him, among the many others. So I don't think those two would work for Thor. Do you think Green Goblin, Kingpin, and Kraven could be great villains for Batman? Honestly, all three of those would be great villains. Kingpin specifically is a crime boss. He's a very powerful crime boss. I just did a versus with him and Bane. But he does fit very well in the Batman world. Kraven also actually would work. If you watch Batman Beyond, I can't remember his name, but there is a character who is in essence Kraven the Hunter. He's the Batman Beyond version of it, and he's hunting Batman. So Kraven, hearing of the Bat, that would fit well. And if anything, if Bane didn't exist, I put it on my list of video ideas to do like rogues versus swaps. I've already done Spider-Man facing Batman's rogues. Should do Batman versus Spider-Man's rogues. I fully believe this would be the equivalent of his Bane. Let's say it doesn't matter who would win in the fight. It's just, Kraven would work. Green Goblin is the one that would probably be a little bit more difficult. It would be the most difficult for Batman to deal with because he is super powered. He can trade blows with Spider-Man. And so Batman would, at first encounter, wouldn't do very well against Green Goblin. he would have to come back with like a bat suit. But with the amount of bat suits he's made over the years, it wouldn't be that difficult. But I don't know if Green Goblin would make a very good Batman villain. He's more reasonable than the Joker, but he's still insane. I don't know. That's the one I might feel a little iffy on. But the other two, yeah, they'd make good Batman villains. Do I think Doctor Doom, Juggernaut, and Apocalypse would be great villains for Superman? Juggernaut definitely would be a good villain. This is due to the fact that he's magic based, and Superman notoriously has no special resistances to magic. And when you get Juggernaut going to his full power, Juggernaut is the unstoppable Juggernaut for a reason. Doctor Doom is kind of a good Lex Luthor stand-in many ways, but I don't know if Superman doesn't go around solving global crises very often. I mean, he will, because he is part of the Justice League, will help the things going on in the world, certainly. But he's not. It's not his job to go stop dictators all the time or anything like that. Nor does he try to. But that's not to say that he couldn't see Superman as a threat and plan for it, especially when Doom starts to do his Machiavellian world-conquering schemes. That's when Superman would step in. Unfortunately, Doctor Doom is also skilled enough to be the Sorcerer Supreme when it comes to magic. Now, his magical abilities have not waned, but have been taken away in certain eras. I don't know if he currently has magical capabilities right now in the comics. There's also the whole idea of God Emperor Doom and everything that comes with that. But honestly, I don't know if he's a good comparison to Lex. And Apocalypse is interesting. Survival of the fittest. If anything, Apocalypse would see Superman as a valuable asset because he looks at him as like, you are the peak. I want you. And you actually would be a very good philosophical villain for Superman because his ideology would very much conflict with Superman. And they would probably, Apocalypse can dish it out. I mean, he's got power from Celestials. He can morph his physiology. I would, I'd definitely say that he could be a good villain for Superman. I think there's the definite one in Juggernaut, the maybe one in Apocalypse, and then the kind of one in Doctor Doom. Let's see here. Do you think Red Skull and Hela could be great villains for Wonder Woman? Red Skull, yeah, I mean, Wonder Woman's fought in, World Wars and all that, but I don't think Red Skull really works. Hela, though? Yeah, Hela's a goddess of death. Wonder Woman fights gods all the time, so Hela would be a good choice. 6. Do I think Mysterio and Emma Frost could be a great villain for Flash? Mysterio, yes, because he deals with individuals like Mirror Master all the time. I don't really see why Emma Frost is on there, apart from her trying to read his mind and being unable to. So I'd say no for that. Do I think Venom and Magneto could be great villains for Green Lantern? Venom? Not really. Yes, there is a similarity in that it's an alien thing that's bonded itself in some way to a human for that level of power, sure. But otherwise, Venom generally does not have the strength to go up against Green Lantern, so I would say no. But Magneto actually would be pretty good, pretty cool. But see, remember, a good villain isn't solely about the power set; it's also about the ideology. And Magneto just doesn't fit for a Green Lantern villain, so I would say no to that too. Poison Ivy and Livewire, would they be great villains for Storm in the X-Men comics? Livewire could be kind of fun. Poison Ivy is Earth versus the weather. I could see Storm is so badass in her own way, and she is as wise as she intelligent and mature as she is. I think Livewire she could put down no problem, but Poison Ivy, I could see a comic where they clash and Forest is trying to clash with the weather. Eventually they come to an agreement, and she's left alone. She even says, "I know a place you could be for a while. If they might have to ask for permission for you to go there." And so maybe Poison Ivy just lives in a secluded jungle in Wakanda and just gets to chill out. And Storm, because the weather helps with the with plants and how they grow. I think they'd have a very interesting relationship. I don't know if they'd be great villains overall, though. Again, there's no really ideological issues with them or that they would be going up against, so I don't think so. And do I think Super Skrull, Carnage, Shadow King, Cassandra Nova, Mystique, and Onslaught could be great villains for the Martian Manhunter? Super Skrull, actually, that could be a maybe because he depends on what, but it depends on what Super Skrull the powers the Super Skrull has. Carnage, no, I don't think there's anything really interesting there. But Cassandra Nova, Shadow King, and Onslaught, yes, because those are all mental characters. There's all characters with psychic abilities, so they would play well for Martian Manhunter. Mystique being able to shapeshift is not really that important to this. Then 10. Do you think Doomsday and Parasite could be great villains for the Hulk? Parasite actually would be great. Honestly, Absorbing Man functions kind of like Parasite. But Parasite would be great. Doomsday, the problem with Doomsday, especially if you get to, was it Time Trapper Doomsday, is that Doomsday is so freaking busted at this point that it's a stalemate kind of fight between those two. Because Hulk just keeps coming back. Unless you're able to get rid of every ounce of the Hulk and Banner to keep him from going back to the Green Room and being, or you'd have to cut off as a connection to the place, not the place above all, but the place below all, where the one below all lives. Or you'd have to do complete existence erasure. Now, someone argued, no, Hulk's immune to existence erasure. He can recover from his atoms. That's not what existence erasure is. Disintegrating someone down to their atoms. That's what I think you're thinking of. But existence erasure literally means there is just nothing left, including body, physicality, atoms gone, literally existence gone. Soul, spirit, mind, everything gone with no place to go. That's what existence erasure is. And Doomsday, actually, because the Omega Beams can do that, is immune to existence erasure. So, I don't know. The whole Doomsday is a weird one, especially nowadays, but Parasite, I think, actually would be a good one. Do I think Brainiac, the Riddler, Silver Banshee, Killer Frost, Atrocitus, and Clayface would be great villains for the Fantastic Four? Brainiac kind of functions kind of like a Galactus. I would definitely agree with that one. Silver Banshee? I don't remember Silver Banshee. Give me 1 second here. Silver Banshee. Who's that? I know who Banshee is. Who's Silver Banshee? Oh, wait a minute. Silver Banshee. Hold on. Is that the... yeah, okay. She's kind of almost like... weird to say. No, she's like got skeletal. Yeah, okay, that's Silver Banshee. Maybe as the villain of the week. Same with Killer Frost, to be honest. Atrocitus, though, could work. Clayface also actually would be a pretty decent one, too. I don't think any of these are bad, per se. But, and a Riddler, though, I know you're kind of squaring up each Fantastic Four member with their own respective kind of like villain, but that's not how the Fantastic Four actually work. Their villains kind of target them as a family. So, but otherwise, I'd say some of these could be good. Do you think Taskmaster, Silver Samurai, Black Cat, Bullseye, and Elektra could be good villains for Batman? Taskmaster would definitely be a good villain because obviously he can copy anyone's martial art, movements and use their like techniques style-wise. So that would be a great opponent for Batman. Silver Samurai, yeah, I could see that. Batman's got training as a samurai and a ninja, so him going to Japan at one point, or Silver Samurai coming to Gotham, that could make sense. Black Cat, sure, she's just a souped up version of Catwoman. Bullseye, just a different version of Deadshot. And Elektra, honestly, just like a different version of someone like Shiva or something like that. So yeah, any one of them could be great villains for Batman. That's like, I think the first one I could say that all of them work, in my opinion. Do I think Loki, Mr. Sinister could be great villains for Superman? Loki would be interesting, but probably not. Sinister, though. Remember, Sinister's whole idea is experimentations on mutants, adding their DNA to his body, giving him different abilities, including psionic capabilities, energy manipulation, shadow manipulation, enhanced regeneration. Him wanting to, basically eugenics, him wanting to take Superman's DNA, give him Kryptonian DNA and amp him up, that would be interesting. He would definitely have a fascination with Superman. So actually, Sinister could be a very cool Superman villain. Do you think that Sandman and Arcade could be great villains for the Flash? Arcade definitely could be. Sandman, honestly, is just a... I think he's a stronger variation, admittedly, but he's just a very different variation of Clayface, who the Flash can handle no problem. But Arcade would be interesting. Arcade fits Flash better. Do you think Enchantress from Marvel, Mephisto, and Gore the God Butcher could be great villains for Wonder Woman? Gore the God Butcher is a guarantee right there. Same with Mephisto. And honestly, all three of those are actually good options for Wonder Woman. So yeah, I think that would work. And do I think Galactus, Thanos, Annihilus, Phoenix Force, and the Skrulls could be a great villain for the Green Lantern? Okay, Galactus, yes. Thanos is a debatable one. It would all depend on what Thanos' goal within DC would be. Is Darkseid still around, or is he replacing Darkseid? In which case, Thanos probably is closer to a Superman villain, honestly, at that point, because then he's like still probably after the anti-life equation. Annihilus probably. The Phoenix Force maybe. In fact, the Phoenix Force is a interesting issue because the Skrulls probably not. But the Phoenix Force because it would exist alongside the beings that make up the emotional spectrum. So that actually could be an interesting kind of back and forth there. Okay then. From Hyperboy. So that's how you get Q&A. That's how your Q&As work. I've been wondering for a long time how to participate. Oh, no worries. I mean, every time I have, well, you're a long time viewer, fan, no problem. Anytime you want to just a refresher, I always make sure to do that video prior to let you put all the suggestions in there and to remind you how the Q&A works. So, yeah, you ever want to just need a refresher on that. But you ask 1 of 7. Have you ever been to Puerto Rico? And if not, do you think you'll ever visit? No, I have not ever been to Puerto Rico. I have no plans. I don't travel very much, I'm going to be honest. I'm a townie kind of guy. I like my little area. I'm very comfortable in it. I also don't travel very well. Not that I get sick. I get homesick very easy. I'm not saying I never visit, but I don't. I have never been personally, and I don't have any plans right now, too. Why don't you do one shot for your birthday what ifs? One shot birthday what ifs for yourself. It doesn't have to be a day on your birthday or avoid sharing personal information. Oh, it's okay. It doesn't matter if you guys don't know what my birthday is or not. It's the 6th of November. There you go. I'll be honest. I've never thought about it. It's not a terrible idea, especially if there's a particular one shot I want to do. But I usually have plans on my birthday, at least to just kind of relax, go see a movie, hang out with my friends or a girlfriend, whatever. It's not a terrible idea, though. Maybe if I can remember to do it, maybe I'll try to do it this year. 3. What clan would your OC, would my original character in Naruto be from? Now, okay, this is interesting, because this is spoilers for whenever I get around to a self-insert with me in Naruto. Now, keep in mind, and this is the one thing, and I know you're not bringing this up, right, bro? I know someone else will. People have always gotten on my case about, how I do a self-insert for myself in Marvel. And one person even, or in a series in general, one person even had the stupid gall, if I'm going to be honest, to basically, he doesn't have something along the lines of he doesn't have the creative skills or he doesn't have the ability to do. I'm like, I have the ability to do exactly what you're asking. What you're just saying is you're not liking the version I'm giving. So, yeah, no, it's just the level, that little pettiness and little entitlement. It is a little bit. I was like, you're not doing what I want. You don't have the ability to do it. Like, no, I just didn't do what you wanted. Anyway, to the actual question, my original character would be an Uzumaki. It would be. I'll even go one step further. It would be the brother of Kushina. That would be essentially who I'd be in the Naruto world. All right then. Why don't you do a self-insert what if replacing Sakura in Team 7 or adopting and training Naruto? Oh, you're asking what if why don't I do that? Why don't I do that? Or why don't you do that? I'm not sure the tone exactly, but I could. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the idea. I could do it. Obviously, if I'm an Uzumaki, though, I probably would be adopting Naruto and training him in this. So just putting it out there on that front. As for the replacing Sakura part, I don't know. Never felt like it. And to be fair, at least within the original core 4 teams in Konoha, teams 10 through 7, there was one Kunoichi on each team. And I don't know if that was a hard and fast rule. We have seen teams from the past that don't follow that. But I don't know, maybe. Okay, do you think your what ifs will end at some point? What ifs would end with you, to be honest? Nobody else is doing them like you anymore. Okay, so I don't know if that's very kind of you to say. I don't know that for a fact if no one's doing what ifs anymore. Or if I'm like just or if I'm just, I think what you mean is no one does it in the style that I do it in anymore, I think is what you're saying. When do I think that what ifs? Do you think the what ifs will end at some point? They'll end when I choose to stop them, and that's not anytime soon. I mean, look, like I said, I can be a 75-year-old man with a colostomy bag, and I'll still sit here and talk about Naruto and get all the crap for being a Naruto guy and Bleach guy and all this what if guy at age 75. Man, like I'll do this as long as I want to keep doing it. I have no reason to stop. So there you go. Why don't you ever make a Naruto rewrite slash fanfic for the channel run alongside the What If? Similar to, I know who this guy is. I just don't know how to pronounce Digo Knight. Its own rewrite of Naruto. If I'm gonna be honest, it simply comes down to the fact that while I don't mind, I do enjoy reading a fanfic now and then. I don't want to like really like I like doing the what ifs, rewrite doing because what's the best way to put it? If I make an exception, and there's what ifs that definitely go into the fanfic realm. That again, the Naruto going rogue and starting his own village, that's about as close to as a fanfic as I ever got. But it still all stemmed from a what if idea. And then the logical stuff I could do from there, what was available to do, all that. If I actually do a legit fanfic, people are going to ask me to just keep doing them. Now, I don't have to keep doing them, obviously. But the fact is, if I open that door, it's never going to get closed. And honestly, I have no issue with fanfic. Hell, I have no issue with writing it, believe it or not. I write stories for my friends all the time. I'm currently writing my 4th out of 5 stories for a series of stories I'm doing, and then moving on to something else. But I do that for friends more than anything else. And not to say you guys aren't friendly and all that, and we're not chums, but I don't know. I've never been interested in doing fanfic, at least on the channel myself. So yeah, that's my thought on it. And then what motivated you to make Naruto What Ifs? Thank you for now. No worries, Hyperboy. What motivated me? Honestly, the fun of telling stories. That's really what it is. And the fact that I enjoy Naruto. I know obviously a decent amount about Naruto. So the question just comes down to why do I do it? Well, because I enjoy it. And then what motivated me to do it? Well, again, storytelling and storytelling and sorry, I got distracted by something. Storytelling and just the enjoyment of the medium. All right, so thank you, Hype Boy. Wade Wilson asks 1 of 14. Okay, let's see if I can. Where am I at time? I think I'm like in the 20-minute mark right now. Yeah, 20-minute mark. Okay, we're doing okay. Number 1, do you think Marvel Mutants would get the same fear and pitchforks treatment in My Hero Academia, or would the society be slightly nicer or just better at hiding torches? Oh no, they'd be. My Hero Academia is what if mutants were accepted in society. That's what that mutants would be welcomed with open arms, and most mutants in the X-Men verse kick the crap out of most of My Hero characters. When you actually break it down, because you literally have straight, just pure reality warping mutants in Marvel. Hell, Wolverine, who's not even anywhere near the strongest character in Marvel by far, could run the fade on 90% of the My Hero verse without issue, because quirks are basically mutations with bigger limiters on them. Baku even says quirks have physical limitations. They're physical. So, yeah, no. We've seen the limits Baku has. We've seen the limits most of these quirks have. Most mutations don't really have a set limit, or at the very minimum, it takes so much longer, or it takes much more effort to get to the limitations of those mutations. Let's see here. 2, could a lightsaber actually cut Superman, or just have a fashionable glow line? Well, it's concentrated plasma, but it's not solar energy. That's the kicker on that. I do not think you would be able to cut, like, just cleanly slice him through. Hell, I don't even think it would really cut him. Like, if you put it to him and just held it there, it would eventually get through him. I don't even think that. It's still just just concentrated plasma. It's still just concentrated plasma, but it's not solar plasma. So because of that, I do think it would hurt. He'd probably get a nice little char. Nothing serious, but it would hurt him. He'd feel it, at least. Would Beerus still be the same kind of cosmic, oh no, we're all snacks now threat in the Bleach universe? Oh, that's okay. That's a tough one because people always get a little iffy on the scaling for the Bleach universe. So and the Dragon Ball universe too. So Dragon Ball universe, just one universe is God knows how much larger than our own. Like it's I think like the calc we have is like somewhere in the thousands of times larger than our own because there's not just the main universe, there's also the macroverse like around it, kind of the realm of the Kais, the Hell, Beerus's realm, and that's all part of the universal structure. There is like just the main mortal universe, and then all the other universal structure along with it. And then you have 13 other universes, and there were previously 6 more that got erased. Beerus is someone who is a universal threat at minimum to his world, and probably could threaten other universes too, which does make him on the multiversal side of things. Now, how high the multiversal, argue it all you want. The question is, does, like, say, something like the Soul King qualify for that? Because we have Wake Mundo, Soul Society, and the Living World, all of which are equal in size. All of which have at minimum a star, or in this case, a moon for Wake Mundo, two of them. But we have to also assume that, as to the best of our knowledge, we know that there are planets in the solar system in the human world. So at the very minimum, it's a solar system. So that would, at least, if they're equal size, that would mean that both the Soul Society, Wake Mundo, and the human world are solar system. If we're going to the full extent, that means they're both all 3 of them are separate universes. But beyond that, you also have the Soul King's Palace, which is a separate dimension entirely. You have the Dangai, and you have the Dangai, and you have all the Valley of Screams and all the other pocket little dimensions that show up in there, which are at least high planetary to low solar system because they each have a star with them as well. And thanks for Death Bell for helping out with that one. So that in theory means that we're dealing with a low multiversal world. Would he be a threat to the world? 1000% he'd be a threat. Would something like a Prime Soul King or Yuaba with the Almighty be able to counter that threat? It all depends if you can ask the question, can they counter Hakai? Because if their race or existence is being erased, because that's what Hakai does, it's existence erasure, then even the Almighty can't counter that. Although, basically what that is the Almighty can actually counter anything it sees. Basically, the minute you see something in the future, you develop a counter for it. It's like, nope, anything I see, anything I've seen with these eyes, I won't be affected by. I'd say Beerus is probably a threat. Beerus would still be an immense threat. Like, power output-wise, he most likely... And that's the thing, too. I am not taking into consideration the actual scale of just one Dragon Ball universe. It's just far larger than the normal human universe. So we can't assume that the Bleach human universe is any bigger than our normal human universe. There's nothing to indicate that. So yes, actually, Beerus scales frankly much higher than the Bleach universe. I'm not saying he would be able to just be like the true deity of it. I still think something like the Soul King in his prime and Yuaba would be exceptionally problematic for him to deal with, especially if you factor every ability the Soul King actually is known to have. But yeah, I'd say he'd still be a big threat. 4, do you think the Shinobi World of Naruto has something like life insurance or a policy just hope you don't die today, ninja? Or is the policy just hope you don't die today, ninja? That's actually a good question, and we know that like Sasuke lived off his like clan's resources, like the money that his clan had made. So there's that. But otherwise, there might be some sort of policy to kind of help out with like the families of fallen ninja. But otherwise, I don't know. That's a very good question. Did last year zip by like caffeinated squirrel or on roller skates, or did it crawl past like it owed you money? It's weird. I'd say in the beginning of every year, it feels like the year is just taking forever to get by. Especially when there's things later in the year you're looking forward to, like Pokemon Generation 10, which will probably come out this year. Pokemon Days tomorrow, by the way, folks. I will be doing a reaction video. Not live, but I'll do a reaction video to it. Or Doomsday coming out later this year. Spider-Man Brave New Day, The Odyssey. And that's kind of how I keep track of like where we are in the years, like the movies I know are coming out that I want to see. But then as you get further in the year, it starts to feel like it's moving by faster and faster and faster and faster. But that's the thing. It's like it feels like when we're about to go into March, it feels like we're still in January because of the weather. So it's difficult. I would say that 2025 felt about average. Yeah, I don't think it felt like it was like overwhelming or anything like that in one way or the other. Okay, 6. Could Columbo solve Batman's secret identity, or Bruce just offer him some coffee until he forgets his name? Columbo's very intelligent, and he could probably put 2 and 2 together in many ways, but I don't know. Batman is there's plenty of characters who actually have figured out Batman's identity, but there's plenty of people who should know and don't. I don't know. I feel like Columbo just wouldn't bother trying to figure it out. If I'm going to be honest, well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But I don't know. Maybe he could. All right, Garo from One Punch Man versus Kenpachi. Is this a fight? Is this a fight, or just two guys discovering they enjoy violence? Okay, here's the problem. Even if we go to Cosmic Garo, who I believe had some time travel capabilities, he could kind of go back in time to a different spot. Kenpachi does scale to, at minimum, a universal threat by his world standards. And beyond that, he can cut through space. He can literally cut, and I don't mean like, I just cut through space. No, I mean, literally, someone formed a freaking dimension of outer space, and he broke through it. And he can cut concepts too. Once again, like Camp for Your World, he literally can like cut down the concept of death, for God's sake. It's kind of, at least that's how it's described. He literally beat a guy who beat a young Yamamoto, like in one swing. It's actually insane how strong Kenpachi ultimately became. And I love me Kenny. I love me my Kenny. So if we're dealing with Cosmic Garo, but Cosmic Garo and Saitama traded blows. They blew away entire star systems. Like the stars were just gone. Now again, that's both of them clashing. You got to assume, even though Saitama was clearly stronger, you got to assume at least Garo was putting 40% of that in there. So Cosmic Garo would still beat Kenpachi. The only problem is if we're getting Garo at the beginning of the story, hell, we're even getting Garo before he turns into Cosmic Garo. He ain't beating Kenpachi. There's just no way. The scaling just is not there at all. Saitama, I think, is one of the only characters, probably the only character in the show, apart from maybe Cosmic Garo, who could legitimately wipe out most of the Bleach universe. But we haven't seen how he would handle things like the Haxes, like Ichibei's name removal. Honestly, the removing of the name, that would be something that's conceptual. Until we see Saitama do something on a conceptual level, he would not be able to dog walk the whole universe. And that same would have to apply for Garo as well. But yeah, Kenpachi would beat almost every version of Garo, save for Cosmic Garo. Even then, he'd probably put up a good fight, let's be honest. Which anime adaptation actually walked in, kicked the door down, and said, yeah, I'm better than the original? You have to understand, I haven't watched a lot of animes lately. Better than the original. If I'm going to be honest, we just talking about Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War arc. I've heard a lot of people say that they don't like the Bleach anime because it's so censored, and I admit it's censored, but I disagree that I dislike. No, I love the Bleach anime personally. But let me be honest, Can't Fear Your Own World is it's just they're doing it better because they have the pacing. They have the pacing available to add more. So I did go with the Can't Fear Your Own World anime. Dub or sub, or you team understand every word, or team I trust the Japanese voice actors of my soul? I'm actually team either way. I'm team. I go both ways. But no, sub dub doesn't matter. I'm not gonna wait for the dub of 1,000-Year Blood War arc. Me and my girlfriend watched the sub. And there are several other animes where I've done that too. But I'll watch the dub, no problem. I'll watch the sub, no problem. Is Star Wars beyond saving, or is there still a Jedi sliver of hope? Oh, Star Wars is not beyond saving. Not even close. We're Kathleen Kennedy, one of the best producers of all time, but the kind of the root of the problem, what was going on at Lucasfilm, let's be honest, is finally stepping down. So that's good. We also have 2 movies coming. We have Mandalorian and Grogu, which, look, it's Star Wars. I'll go see it. It looks like a decent episode of the series. But that's the problem. It looks like a TV show. But then we got Starfighter, which I think that's going to be pretty solid. So no. Star Wars is not beyond saving. Honestly, no franchise is probably beyond saving. Hell, look at Fantastic Four. Most people would have thought the Fantastic Four, you couldn't do a good Fantastic Four movie. Then First Steps came out. Now we're all like, Fantastic Four, yeah. No. I don't think Star Wars is beyond saving. What's your favorite voice actor in animated shows? The kind whose voice feels like nostalgia wearing headphones. And then follow up that is, what voice actor is so iconic you can recognize them? And the answer to both of those, Keith Mother effing David. Oh, Keith David's GOAT. Goliath, the president in Rick and Morty recently. Keith David, just, you know his voice when you hear it. Man, Keith David, he's got one of those smooth voices too. Oh, I love Keith David. Which members of Class 1A could actually lift Thor's hammer without it going? Nah, I don't think so, buddy. I'll be honest. I don't think anyone probably could. If anyone could, it would be Midoriya. That'd probably be the only one you could make an argument for. And which death row has hit you with the biggest weight? Seriously, that happened? Shockwave? Do you mean who won? It would have been the Naruto versus Ichigo fight back in the original day. Like, I've always, and you know what, Aizen and Madara too. That one I'm like, wait, what? Seriously? Because it took them what, 11 years? 11 years to finally get Bleach scaling in the right category. Because if you look at what they did for Ichigo in that Yusuke fight, and I like that fight, by the way. If you actually look at what they did and got the scaling about as accurate as they probably will ever get it, let's be honest, then you know that the last 2 matches were complete. They were not well researched. Aizen should have easily beaten Madara, and he should have dog-walked Naruto, because there's no scaling in Naruto that even comes close to that. Now, some might argue the Kaguya destroying a dimension feat. That's first off, it's one dimension, whereas there's multiple realms and dimensions that they used in that scaling bit. But beyond that, too, I believe to say that's the dimension she made. Destroying something you created is much different than destroying something someone else created. It would be in her power to destroy something she created. Beyond that, we don't even know how big that dimension was. So the whole dimension, and she didn't even just end up destroying the dimension. So, yeah, again, it would have been the Naruto Ichigo one and the Madara Aizen one as well, personally. And I love Naruto, but Bleach is just the higher scaled universe. And everyone gets on people's cases who are Naruto fans against the Bleach fans, calling them, they're glazing or whatever. It's like, no, we're just able to actually we're just able to scale each individual feat and stuff like that. There's someone on Facebook who on a Bleach channel who constantly just rage baits people for the sake of just says, oh no, this isn't this isn't that, no, this isn't it. And everyone who tries to explain it to him is just like, no, we'll prove it. It's like, you're just letting him get to you. Please stop. It hurts me. Okay. So thanks for the questions. Wade Wilson. Diego Lorente. Diego, long-time viewer. Diego, by the way, my brother, my friend. I think I've asked you once. I think I said this before. You don't have to keep giving me separate comments with different questions. You can put all your questions in literally one comment. It's fine. Okay. So, but anyway, Diego Lorente. All right. What's your favorite Michael Jackson song or album, in your opinion? Because there's a new movie coming out in April, coming out in April, or you go see it, it will break 2 billion or 1 billion. Okay, I think you're asking, am I going to go see it, and will I break 1 million or 2 billion? Also, could you like Michael Jackson? Uh, Grammar, guys. Sorry, but also, could you like Michael Jackson's name? I think what you're trying to say is, could I name three Michael Jackson songs, my like top three Michael Jackson songs I like from him? Billie Jean. Billie Jean's a classic. Thriller's a classic, but it's Smooth Criminal. The original, and don't get me wrong, the Alien Ant Farm version is fine, but the original Smooth Criminal, oh my god, the music video to that, it made the crap movie Moonwalker awesome for a moment. Think about that. No, yeah, you've been struck by a smooth criminal. Like, dance your bump, bump, bada, bada, bump, bump, bada, bump, bump, bada, bada, bump. Like, damn, that's just slick. As for what's my favorite song, I've kind of already said it, Smooth Criminal. I don't. Michael Jackson's one of those guys. I'll listen to his songs when they pop up. I don't know about his albums that much. Okay, now will it break 2 billion? Hell no, hell no. It's just there's only 6, if I remember correctly. So hold on. Star Wars, Infinity War, Endgame, Titanic, and the 2 Avatar films. Nisa 2 does not count. There's only 6 official $2 billion club members. And yeah, no. If anything, Doomsday will do that this year. But do I think it could be a $1 billion film? Absolutely, it could be a $1 billion film. I've heard a lot of people say that's got the $1 billion potential. But I don't personally think it's going to be a $2 billion. That's again, it's such an exclusive club, and we're talking about the entirety of all film that has ever existed club. That is such an exclusive club that no, it takes a very special type of film. It's got to be a film that is first off 4-quadrant. You got to take everyone to it, and is able to be repeatedly watched. Excuse me, I just got this massive post-nasal drip. Whereas Michael Jackson's going to be closer to Bohemian Rhapsody, a biopic. It's going to be big, very famous person involved. A lot of people like Michael Jackson. The difference is Michael Jackson has controversy with him also, so we'll see if that works. We'll see if that happens. But $1 billion, that's definitely reachable. Dale Renta also asked 1 of 2, including one bonus question. Well, they just say 3, dude. Come on. If you had the power to reincarnate as a human or an animal, which would you pick? Probably a human. Problem with animals, very, very simple. The problem with reincarnating as an animal. Do I get to choose the animal or, yeah, no, it doesn't say I would pick which animal. It just said which one do I pick between the 2. Yeah, I wouldn't know if I get to choose what I get to come back on as, that's fine. But animals have short lifespans. I mean, if I'm reincarnating, I assume I still have my mental faculties about me. I'd rather just come back as a human. So I just, relive life as it is and like see if I can learn from my past mistakes. Let's see. Question 2. Do you believe in Bigfoot? In the sense that I believe there's probably something we haven't identified, yes. Do I believe there's a giant hairy ape man walking around though? Maybe not. Who knows on that one, but we'll see. It's entirely possible. There's still so much in the world we really haven't looked into and explored. Bonus question for you. For the $1 billion. Would you like to explore a haunted a haunted attic or basement with a serial killer inside? Okay, is the serial killer attacking? Okay, so it's haunted. Oh, sorry, no, sorry. It's a haunted attic or a basement with a serial killer inside. Oh, give me the attic any day. Just because it's haunted doesn't mean they're evil. So yeah, give me the attic any day of the week. That was a haunted house or attic with a serial killer inside. Okay, Diego also asks, I got one for you, including a bonus one. Okay. What is your favorite Lady Gaga song, and what would you do? Oh, and what do I think of her as Harley Quinn as Joker in Joker 2 or in Joker 2? Do you like her performance or was it terrible? No good. Okay. Lady Gaga's one of those individuals that had to grow on me. My sister loved her for a while, and I got kind of inundated with the songs. I'm like, whatever. And then I kind of like really actually started listening to like the beat, the music. I'm like, no, okay, no, this is good. And like she's a fantastic performer. Obviously, Stars Born. I think she got the Oscar win for that, if I'm not mistaken. I think she definitely know she was nominated and won the song. She deserved every accolade she gets. She's a fantastic voice. Even my dad was never a big fan of her. When she sang "The Hills Are Alive," sang the music, even my dad went, "Whoa!" Like, and you know what? I know some people wouldn't say it. I'll say it. She's a very beautiful woman, I know she does. I know she does Botox, but it's because she suffers. She actually suffers. I believe it's from fibromyalgia. She just has nerve pain, so that Botox actually helps that. So, and I don't judge her for that at all. I mean, no, I actually think she's a very attractive woman in her own way. That being said, what did I think of her? What's my favorite song of her? Probably Bad Romance, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I do kind of like just the way that builds. Um, then, as for what I think about her as Harley Quinn, okay, look, Joker 2 Filet and Do is a bad movie. It is a bad movie, but she is neither Joaquin nor her are the problem in that. They are acting as best as they can for what they are given, and I think it's a unique take on Harley Quinn, where she is actually more the insane one than he is, straight up. And that she is more a fanatic and insane in that sense than Arthur is. So I think that was an interesting take on Harley, and she was good in the movie, no doubt about it. The movie just wasn't good. Okay, which of these cartoon characters could survive Pennywise from It? Okay, I'm not gonna list them all in the sense of listing. I'll just name the ones I think would survive. Powerpuff Girls, yes, because the Powerpuff Girls, most of these characters have a level of Toon Force, which would help, but the Powerpuff Girls also have dealt with Hamu, who kind of acts like a Pennywise in some ways. Dexter could maybe develop the device to protect him from Pennywise, maybe. Johnny Bravo probably is screwed, if I'm going to be honest. Gumball, his Toon Force is off the charts. Mordecai and Rigby, kind of the same. They've also dealt with cosmic entities. Mojo Jojo, he died. I Am Weasel, IR Bar Bill Moon. I don't know really, though. They're like Toon Force is also insane. Cow and Chicken, same. All 5 members of Kids Next Door. That one, yeah. That one they might be screwed on. Courage, he's fought horrifying monsters. By the way, he's fought cosmic entities before. I think he could do it. Billy and Mandy, they got the Grim Reaper on their side. They're literally fine. And Ed and Eddie, they're screwed. By the way, there's a guy who just who does these random videos on for shorts, and I like most of his. But okay, there was like a video he did where which one of these characters could beat Pennywise. He basically said, I think he said the show, the book, or the lore. I think he said the novel or the lore. And he said, if it's the novel, then most of these guys would kill him. If it's the lore, because he escaped the Dark Tower, he's escaped all the fiction. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, isn't the novel what? I feel like that might be overselling Pennywise just a hair. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I feel like that something about that isn't right. But maybe I'm wrong. All right. More questions from Diego. This question's for you. You need to ask yourself: could Jenny from My Life as Teen Jerry Robot defeat Bill Cipher? No. She just has no power against someone of that level of power. At the end of the day, she's just a machine, a very well built machine, but a machine nonetheless. Second question for you. What was better, Nickelback or Creed? What's your favorite song about both of them? Nickelback, 1000%. Nickelback gets so much hate, and they kind of don't deserve it at all. And my favorite song is actually with that song they did with the lead singer of Saliva that I've now got inundated in my YouTube feeds with it's just like this song goes anything. It's like, and they say that a hero save us, not gonna stand in your way. No, man, Hero's a fucking banger, man. Okay, 3. Have you ever watched Dexter, the show on Showtime? What's your favorite character? Okay, I've never watched Dexter, sadly. I've seen clips of Dexter, including the newest one where he came back. But no, I've never watched Dexter, sorry. What's better, Breaking Bad or Justified? Again, don't watch either. At least from the little I've seen, though. Acting-wise, it's probably Breaking Bad. Show-wise, I'd probably be more down with Justified, I'm going to be honest. Timothy Olyphant just kind of got that swagger to him. Okay, Raylan Givens from... could Raylan Givens from the show Justified have caught Jesse Eisenberg? Is that Timothy Olyphant's character? Maybe. To be fair, he did get found out eventually by uh, I don't remember the name, the guy, but his cop friend. He did eventually get found out by him. Okay. Question 6. Can you do a tier list of Pixar movies? I can do that at some point. Sure. I'll have to remember to write it down. I'll probably get a piece of pen and paper later for that. I'll just have to remember that when this video is done. 7. What's your favorite plot twist in a movie? Oh, plot twist. Uh, I'm always down a sucker for a good plot twist, but it's more good plot twist. I don't know if there's a true plot twist that's like has truly surprised me. But like the Knives Out films, when you get like the plot twist of who actually done it, those are fun. I like those. Number 8, do you collect action figures like Funko Pops, or regular figures from Hasbro, Mattel, random action figures, eBay, Macaron? I'm guessing also things like Sideshow collectibles or Hot Toys with count as that too. But the answer is I don't collect them. I do have some Funkos. I got a Rick and Morty one. I lost my Pickle Rick one. That pissed me off. I have no idea where that thing went. I lost Pickle Rick, but I do have Jules from Pulp Fiction. I got Smog, the Smog one I like a lot. I got Morty holding Mega Seeds. And I got one or two other. Oh, and I got a Godzilla one too. A little tiny one. 9. How was your February? February was, man. We had a nice Valentine's Day, me and my girlfriend. But I'm done with. I like winter. I love fall and spring, but I like winter, and I actually don't like summer that much. It's too hot for me, especially because when I live in New England and when we get into those bad summers, oof. But I'm kind of done with winter, and we're still going to get more snow next week. Question 10. Have you watched Angel or Buffy? Buffy I watched a lot of. But Angel I didn't watch a huge amount of myself. So I heard Angel was pretty good, although it ended in a rush. And then there was another question. Which show for me is better, Supernatural or... what show has the better Supernatural? Wait, was the better Supernatural the X-Files or Bones? Okay, sorry. What show is better, Supernatural, the X-Files, or Bones? Apostrophe, guys. I'm not finished Supernatural. I didn't watch a lot of the X-Files, and I didn't watch Bones either. That said, I'm going to go Supernatural, personally. And I know you still got some more, Diego. You still got some more, but we're not done here yet. But Diego, like I said, man, you can literally just put these all in one comment. It would actually make this go a lot faster, if I'm going to be honest. And I'm not trying to poke shit at you, man. Poke fun at you, man. I'm just saying. Okay. Next question. What kind of saw trap should Walter White be in from Breaking Bad? And any good options for him? Any option is fine. It'd probably have to do with meth. Like they'd probably force feed him meth or something like that. I'm not a Saw fan of him, so I'm going to be honest. All right. Who's better, Nine Inch Nails or Pearl Jam? Who has the better music? That all depends what you're into. Nine Inch Nails is certainly a little emo-y, and is a little bit more whiny, whereas Pearl Jam definitely is a bit more. Personally, though, I would go Nine Inch Nails myself. That'd just be me. Okay. What would happen if What would happen if Different Dipper and Mabel from Gravity Falls will drop in the same universe as Supernatural? Okay, so you're basically just asking if Dipper and Mabel from Gravity Falls went into Supernatural. I mean, the problem is they don't have I believe it's the House of Weird. They wouldn't have any of that on their side. They're just kids. They might know some things, but I don't know if they'd be able to survive that type of world for very long without their help of someone. That'd be my thoughts. And okay, last question: Do I think Jenny from My Life, a Teenage Robot, could defeat Pennywise or Godzilla? It's been a long time since I watched My Life as Teenage Robot. If we're compositing Godzilla, then no, because you got to add Ultima in there. It's got literally causality negation. Pennywise, here's the thing. She is a sentient being, but I don't know if Pennywise's abilities work on machines. So if they don't, then he doesn't have anything to hit her back with. And then finally from Diego, what is the scariest video you used to? What's the most scariest video you used to see? You said saw back in 2010 row of YouTube. I have no idea. Like I literally don't know. Sorry about that. Question 2, what's your favorite Mad TV sketch? I didn't watch Mad TV. I didn't even watch that much of SNL, to be honest. Name 3 of your top favorite epic rap battles history. Okay. Is it cheating to say all 3 of the Vader versus Hitler? Actually, that's not true. The first Vader and the second Vader versus Hitler, or third Vader versus Hitler one. Yeah, those. So what was that? Let me paint you a picture, son. Starting the bitch after World War One. You were firing up the hate of the German people and telling them all that the Jews are. You gotta fire it up. They put your gun in the mouth and you fire. I'm like, holy shit, man. So yeah, no, man. But that said, I also like the George R.R. Martin one versus the Tolkien one. And yeah, by the way, anyone who argues, Tolkien won that fight. Definitely won that fight. I know there's a couple other ones I really liked as well. I can't think of any like that stand out to me right now though. I'll be telling you what I don't like. I don't like the Hulk versus Kylie Jenner or Kendall Jenner one. I don't like that one simply because once Hulk transforms, that's a completely one-sided rap battle after that. Beyond that, it's like you're a tiger. Stop trying to tame yourself. Like, I'm sorry. Do you not know who this? You're rapping against the Hulk, telling him not trying to take. You realize if the Hulk doesn't stay in control, people die. That is the worst comeback. Oh, the Stevie Wonder versus Wonder Woman epic rap battle. That's don't step in my shoes. Stick to your reboots with pots so thin even I can see through. Like, damn, yeah. That was pretty good too. I can still remember. Oh, and the comedians fight. I can't remember how that started. It was George Carlin versus Richard Pryor. I think it went into Joan Rivers and someone else, and then Robin Williams came out. Oh, and then Austin Powers versus Sean, and then James Bond one. That one's gold. That one's gold too. So there are a lot of good ones out there. Question 4. What would happen if Bill Cipher is in the same universe as Supernatural? I'm going to be honest. Bill is like, we know Bill is easily a universal level threat. Bill is also he actually goes even beyond that into timelines and things along those lines. The only one who could compete with him even close would be God himself, Chuck. And I don't know if their version of God would be powerful enough to take on Bill, quite frankly. Don't get me wrong, their God is a powerful God. Like their God kicks the crap out of the preacher world's God, 1,000%. But I don't know. He would be a ultimate level threat though. He'd be Chuck level. All right then. 5. What's your favorite Frank Sinatra song? "Fly Me to the Moon" is my favorite Frank Sinatra song. Yeah, no, it's "Fly Me to the Moon." Fly me to the moon. Oh, let me sleep forevermore. And "My Way" too. And I did it my way. And there were times, I'm sure you knew, that he loves to sing and spew. I like to sing once in a while. Okay, final question. 6 of your favorite Rob Reiner movies. I'd have to actually think of them all off the top of my head. Okay, Princess Bride. Okay, you know what? No, my favorite would be Princess Bride. Rob Reiner. And I know you're not asking me about it, but I'm guessing you might want at least my basic opinion on it. No, I mean, it was. What can anyone say about what happened? And Rob Reiner's son is apparently pleaded not guilty. Are they going for the insanity plea? Good luck with that. But yeah, no. It'd be one thing if he was cut down and like, one thing if he died by natural causes like cancer or something. It would still be sad as hell. It would be absolutely sad as hell. But it's still the fact that it was his own son. Apparently, there was like some political things to it. Like that's it. Just sucks. Now, let's see here. Princess Bride, I think, is my favorite. A Few Good Men is great though. I do, and I'm not going to rank these in any particular order. Sorry. Let's see here. The Buckalypse is actually pretty fun. Uh, Albert, I honestly I haven't seen a lot of his later work. If I'm going to be frank. Uh, but I then probably add the original. This is Spinal Tap, Misery, uh, and Stand By Me. That would probably be what I'd do. All right. Thank you for all the questions, Diego. Yeah, you're a trooper. I'll give you that. All right, then let's move on. And where are we on time? Probably past an hour now. Oh, we only just got the. Actually, we're making good time with this because not as many people put any questions this time around, which is all well and good. Okay, making sure I'm not skipping over anyone before I continue. Okay. Okay. Hey, Clockwork. Good to see you from Astra LTV or Astral TV. Sorry, Astral TV. A few questions. Good to see you're in good health. I'm generally in good health. Like I said, I've had some reflux and it's been a little more than usual, but I think I'm good. I've had a kink, like a problem. I think I strained my arm in a way that sucks. Anyway, a few questions for you. Would Naruto be more justified to follow Sasuke's journey, or would Sasuke be more justified to follow Naruto's journey? Oh, that's actually a very good question. But I honestly think Naruto would be more justified to follow Sasuke's journey because Naruto had already dealt with far worse than Sasuke had before the massacre happened. Sasuke, honestly, is Sasuke justified in actually doing what he did? To be honest, I mean, he's an emo, angsty kid, but let's actually think about it from the standpoint of where he's coming from. He wasn't entirely wrong. He just wasn't. He mostly wasn't right. Is the problem. Naruto, on the other hand, if he did what Sasuke ultimately did, could anyone have blamed him after the way he was treated? I don't think anyone would have. So I'd say Naruto's more justified. If Naruto were in Pokemon, what region would he be in primarily? What would his goal be? And if you're a gym leader, what was Elements be? I'm so glad you didn't ask me to make a team for him. Although, if he's a gym leader, okay. So what? We know Gen 10 is going to get announced tomorrow. That's the problem. Because honestly, based on like the regions we have so far, I don't know if there's a really good fit. But I would say the Indonesian base region, that whatever this Gen 10's region is going to be, and that's what's allegedly going to be on Indonesia, as far as we know, that is what it is. That actually might be a good fit because I feel like it fits the elemental nations better. But that said, I think you got to go with a Japanese base region because despite the fact that it's not in Japan, it's in Japan. Beyond that, though, of the four main Japanese regions, which one do I feel like feels like the elemental nations the most? Like Naruto's world the most? Okay, so we know there are ninja in Kanto because of Koga, but there are also ninja in Hoenn. I don't ever see there's no ninja in Johto to the best of my knowledge, except for Koga, who's an Elite Four member of the Johto League now. And Sinnoh to me does have someone like Wagner who does look like it looks like Minato, frankly. He could be related. But I lean the most towards Hoenn. That's not just because it's my favorite region. I feel like it gives the right vibes. If of like the elemental region or the elemental nations, if you will. Because you have plenty of places that kind of represent the Leaf Village in many ways, like Fort Tree City, very much Leaf Village in many ways. You definitely got like water towns too that could represent the mist. You got a place that represent the stone. Honestly, the only real clear area that doesn't really represent a like a spot from the elemental regions is the cloud. But yeah, I'll say Hoenn. What would his goal be? Well, that all depends. If he's not a gym leader, his goal would probably to become the champion. Now, if he were a gym leader, what would his elements be? If we were to, let's say, let a specialty, give him a specialty. That's actually very interesting. I've never thought about that. That might be a video idea if I were to just make them a type-specific trainer. But Naruto is probably either a flying type because he has wind release, or, believe it or not, he could be something along the lines of either a bug or grass type because he also became a sage. And when you actually look at some of the Mon in that region, it would also depend on where you put him as a gym leader. Like if he's the first gym leader or if he's the last gym leader. You got things like, you do have Mon like Shiftry, who would make for a very good Pokemon for like a ninja, because I believe he's based off of Tegu, which is a Japanese spirit. He's got ninja-like qualities to him. I could also, if he were to branch into a couple other types as well, I could see him maybe having some Dark Mon on the team, or even, like I said, maybe Tropius could also represent that, flying type as well. He'd have to replace a gym leader, obviously. So either way, I'd probably say that. And 3, do I think Tsunade should have died instead of Jiraiya? It's an interesting question, but the problem is, it's like, how do you balance that out after the fact? I would say probably not. Jiraiya's death was actually, I think, kind of pivotal, I think, to the plot in some ways, because it helped boost Naruto forward. Granted, would we like to see them live? Sure. But, that said, I don't think so. I think I watched NC and Nick do a video talking about characters who are too strong to live, and Jiraiya was one of them. And you're right, as strong as he is, as strong as he was, he could have kind of packed up a lot of this, a lot of the Fourth Great Shinobi War, no problem. Joshua Merriweather. Hello there, Clockwork Highlander. Hello there, Joshua. May the force be with you always, and as with you. 1 to 12. What are your top 3 favorite brands of chocolate? Brands of chocolate. Voice is starting to go a bit here. Okay, so Reese's chocolate. It's at least because of peanut butter, but the chocolate they use is very key for that. So I'd say Reese's falls in there. Honestly, the type of chocolate, I'm a big dark chocolate fan, so I'd say that would probably work as well. And I'll be honest, I don't think about chocolate brands very often. So I don't know, Ghirardelli. What are your thoughts on Denny Taranovsky's Primal Season 3? I actually haven't watched. I got so much shit, by the way. I did Spear and Fang in the Lancer video, and I forgot it was, I think I said Aaron Taranovsky, not Denny Taranovsky. And people got so pissed at me for that. And to be fair, I fucked up on that. I admit that one. But I mean, the little I've seen it, it's same style and same guys that did Samurai Jack. I should get around to watching it at some point. Have you seen Demon Slayer? No, I can already tell you, I have not seen it. If not, it's returning March. I have never even read or watched Demon Slayer, to be frank. So even if it returns March 7th, good for the people who want to see it. No, it's just not me. Are there any future Naruto what if scenarios where Naruto doesn't take abuse from Sakura? I've had versions of that where he already doesn't take abuse from Sakura. I think him being raised by Jiraiya is actually one of those. It's the one that's like the headliner on the channel for new members. But no, yeah, there's plenty of versions coming up, and yeah, there are versions where he just doesn't take shit from Sakura. Hell, the one we're doing right now, Wood Release, I actually don't actively see him taking much shit from Sakura. Not saying he might not take some, but also it's a matter of simply how Naruto acts. If Naruto's far more mature, has gotten over his crush on Sakura, he's not going to be taking shit. So that's just the way that works. Okay, 5. Favorite amusement park and ride at said park? Well, I've only really been to Six Flags. And I haven't been on a ride in ages, so I couldn't tell you that. Sorry. Rate 1 from 10, biggest sip. Okay, Mordecai from the regular show, Bach from Wicked Franchise Soccer, Harno, or Panini from Chowder. Okay, I don't watch Chowder. I'm going to put that at the bottom just because of that. Mordecai, I'll put at number 2. No. So what's the worst scenario here? You will love someone despite the fact they tried to kill you, and then eventually you won them over? Or you love someone, can't be with them, kind of lead someone else on, and then say, no, I still love them. But also they're getting married. Like, they don't love you. Man, Bach, and I can't remember Alphabet's sister's name, but Bach and her were, man, those two pissed me off so hard. Like, oh my God. Move them on. So, I would say, here's the thing too. Sakura is also trying to save Sasuke. I'm going to go to Bach, because at least Sakura is trying to save Sasuke. If nothing else, there is that aspect to it. So, I'm going to go Bach. Oh my God, Bach. The actor's doing a good job when he's, I think, getting the reaction you want. Okay, best anime Big Brother, Edward Ulrich or Shinra from Fire Force. I don't watch Fire Force, so I got to go with Edward personally. Have you ever heard of Critical Role D&D campaign? Yes, I have. Thoughts on these upcoming movies? Project Hail Mary. I am looking very much forward to Project Hail Mary. I'm hearing that's like first best picture of the year accolades. Super Mario Brothers Galaxy. I had a good time with the first Mario Brothers movie. I'm planning to have a good time with this one. And the Michael Jackson's biopic. I am very interested and curious on how well this one's going to do. Because I know Michael Jackson was the king of pop. He's very popular, but he was also very controversial. So I have no idea what the pulse of how well this is going to be. All right. Number 10. What are your thoughts on Disney Plus show Wonder Man? Me and my dad finished it about a week ago, and me and my girlfriend just finished rewatching it because she hadn't watched it. We loved Wonder Man. We're now hitting a point that the MCU is starting to actually get their funk back, get their groove back, get their mojo back. We had one last hiccup with Brave New World. Oof, that was a hiccup. But because you went from Marvels, which was okay but did terribly, partially because it was poorly marketed, and partially because it wasn't good, or it wasn't great. It's fine. It's just not great. But you had Deadpool Wolverine, highest grossing R-rated film of all time. Fantastic. You had Agatha. That was good. I think it was pretty solid. Brave New World. Wah, wah. Daredevil Born Again. Thunderbolts, which didn't do well financially, but was really well received. Brand new First Steps. Now Wonder Man. And now we're going into Daredevil Born Again Season 2 next month. Look, I think it's saying Marvel's not back, but they're hitting their stride again for quality. And Wonder Man was a perfect example of that. It harkened back to the points between Phase 1 and Phase 3. Not Phase 2 entirely, but in that general area, where they were able to bring in films that had different and products that just had different tones. It still felt like the MCU, but different tones to them, and make them quality products. Wonder Man fit that. It's not an action series. There's an action scene or two here, but it's not an action series. It's a character series. There really is these two guys who are actors. He has powers, can't hide them. He's got to hide them, and how he's trying to navigate that. And it's just a very engaging watch. Ben Kingsley and Yaya are just fantastic together. And the thing is, if they didn't have the DODC in there, or Department of Damage Control, if they didn't name drop Captain America, if Ben Kingsley wasn't the Mandarin, there's no real connection to the greater MCU here. And that's okay, because sometimes you don't need that. It is just a good show. So hats off to him. Any advice for obtaining a master's degree? You're looking at a guy who doesn't even have a bachelor's. I have an associate's in theater. One of the most useless things I could have done. But to be fair, these days you don't need it doesn't really matter what your degree is in, just as long as you have a college degree. Your thoughts and opinions on the Academy Awards this year. I'm looking forward to it. Me and my girlfriend are very curious to see how many awards Frankenstein and Sinners win. Because Sinners was our favorite movie of the year. Frankenstein was my number 2. And we just finished rewatching Frankenstein last week. My dad loved that. So, yeah. Okay, then. Techno King Shadow. If you were in Digimon and became a Digidestined, what Digimon partner would you have? Ooh. It's a good question. I do Digimon, the Digimon Partner Series for everyone but myself, so let me think on that really quick. I'd probably I would think, I could totally see a Vmon. Now keep in mind, Digimon are not all the same personality-wise, but I could totally see like a Vmon on my side, and maybe maybe I have a Digi Miracle, maybe I don't. Maybe I got Armored Digivolution, maybe I don't. Or maybe I just go the full Ultra Force, All Force Veedramon line route. Who knows? But yeah. And sorry, I just got a notification about something. Good. There we go. Techno King Shadow also asks, what if Naruto became a Power Ranger? Well, it's Morphin time. What Power Ranger would he be from what series? You know what? That's the what if. I'll let you guys decide on. Just the chicken. Marker. Number 1 through 12. And you honestly, I'm answering one already. What Digimon partner would it be? Or what would my Digimon partner be? I already answered that. For someone who isn't well versed in Bleach, I was hoping you could clear this up for me. Can Bleach characters use powers without their sword, or is it dependent on the sword's existence? Okay, so to simplify this to a uninitiate, in Bleach, as you've seen, they have swords. They're called Zanpakuto. The Zanpakuto starts as a blank slate, something called an Asuchi, and is a blank canvas. What happens ultimately is a Shinigami basically keeps their sword on them as often as possible. They eat, train, whatever, and they impart not just their energy, but and their essence, a portion of their soul, basically. And through that, the Zanpakuto spirit manifests. The Zanpakuto is a sentient being that takes the form of a sword. It has a spirit in there. And these powers and abilities are born from the Zanpakuto after that, through training and hard work. But, to answer your question, no. If they are saying to be fair, actually that's not entirely true. But in essence, the ability comes from the sword. It comes from them, and the sword gets it, but it comes from the sword. If they were to be separated from their sword, they generally can't use an ability. But there have been a few exceptions. We don't see this happen very often is the problem, that someone gets separated from the sword and can't use their ability. Almost always a Shinigami is able to keep a hold of their sword in combat. So there is one instance where Rukia was able to use her sword's ability despite not actually being able to touch it. However, I believe that's not true. She was able to touch like the tassel of the sword and therefore then use the ability of it. So no, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they still have to be in contact with the sword in order to use the ability. Though some abilities basically kind of make the sword disappear, like especially when you go into Bankai, like Zenbon Zakura Kageyoshi makes the sword sink into the ground, giant petals emerge, and the sword is now kind of free to control. So there's exceptions, but normally, yes, they have to be in contact. What if Vegeta found Goku on Yardrat? I already told you that I'm not going to actually do a what if, but he might say, so this is what you've been doing, Kakarot. No, I would not let you get ahead of me. You're idiots. Train me. Like, that's probably what it would be. All right, then. There's more to that question, but okay. What if Vegeta found him training Spirit Control, whatever? He wasn't training in Spirit Control at the time. He was only training instant transmission. Do I think Vegeta would join the training? Would he even be allowed by the Aradians? At that point in time, maybe not. Could he help Goku obtain Super Saiyan so that the two can be evenly matched? Wait, what do you mean it helped Goku? He already achieved Super Saiyan. Just need to learn to unlock it. I think you mean help Vegeta achieve it. I don't think so. What's your favorite horror characters? Freddy Krueger's a pretty good one. He's a classic slasher guy. Yeah, I'd say Freddy. But Hannibal Lecter's pretty good too. I like Hannibal Lecter. What's your least favorite? Okay, least favorite Bleach character in the entirety of the show and manga? Oh, uh, gotta be honest, not a Cone fan. Never really been a huge Cone fan. I'm also not a huge fan of the two kids for Urahara. Um, yeah, I'm really not huge on them. If we're talking about like the main cast and like the Shinigami and the soul, all that, um, like who's my least favorite captain? Probably Soifon, if I'm gonna be honest. Her, the angsty little closet lesbian. I don't even know if she's closeted. And trope just doesn't work for me. A lot of people like Soifon. I am not a Soifon fan that much. Okay. What would the Doctor Who's reaction and thoughts be if he met the SCP Foundation and its monsters and creatures? How well would he do against them? Okay, so the Doctor's strength comes from knowledgeable planning and all that. But as well as, just his threat and things he can, in fact, do if he really wants to. I think this would be very, like, he might be thinking, like, it's a prison and, like, maybe they should be free, but the Doctor's also very aware that there are beings that should not be let out. So I think he'd be fine with what they're doing so long as they're doing it humanely. Unfortunately, he probably doesn't approve of the practice of taking randos and anesthetizing them all the time. So not anesthetizing, but wiping their memories. Would you rather have time stop every time you fall asleep, or so you could sleep for however long you want without wasting a minute of the day, or have the ability to sleep for only 2 hours a day and never feel tired? Second one. Because if time stop, okay, assuming I'm not the aging is not catching up with me on that. Believe it or not, that would be a really weird ability to have. Because let's say you go to bed at your normal time. Let's say I go to bed at like 11 o'clock. I wake up, it's still 11 o'clock. Okay, now I'm up 8 hours plus. I'm going to be tired throughout the day, and you're not going to have your bed with you to sleep in. You might have to sleep on the fly. Well, no, to be fair, you're awake a lot more longer than 8 hours a day. At least I am. So you're awake for more like, see, if I wake up at 11, if I go to bed at 11, wake up at say 9, and then go to bed at 11, yeah. So I'm awake for about 14 hours a day. That means I would start to theoretically crash around noon. Yeah, I don't like that. Or one, I don't like that. I'd rather have just sleep 2 hours and a day and never. Plus, let's say you share a bed with a significant other. That'd get really annoying fast. At least in 2 hours a day you can sleep for a little bit, and you can just chill out in bed. Anyway, what do you want in your life? What do you want your life to be like in 5 years? Honestly, I'm content in my life mostly. I'd like to be making a little bit more money or something like that, some of the basics. But overall, I'm content where I'm at. Do you avoid confrontation or do you struggle to initiate it? Why or why not? I'm sorry. Do I avoid confrontation, or do I struggle to initiate it? Like trying to confront someone on a subject that needs to be confronted on? Okay, do I struggle with confrontation? Not really. I mean, I'll grin and bear it at work if there's not a nice customer or something like that, but that's part of the job. Ultimately, I don't avoid confrontation, but I don't go looking for it either. If I need to confront someone on something, I will usually bring it up. What do I love about life? Honestly, it's kind of sappy, but it's just living, enjoying the little things and those little pleasures that life give you. Honestly, no joke. Some of the best pleasures of life: eating a healthy meal and then taking a dump that makes you feel like $1,000,000. Like seriously, no joke. That's it's a good feeling. And then there's the other little things too. So I don't like. There's a lot of things to like about life. Let's see. At what point does someone become unforgivable based on actions? To put context in the question, when do we give up on someone? Once they've committed murder, multiple murders, what if someone killed a family of 4 in the most sinister way, but then sacrificed himself to save millions of people? Obviously, science fiction hypothetical. Why, would they be considered redeemed at the end as the greater crime? Okay, I know what you're saying. Okay, if we're talking about, let's use that fictional scenario real quick. What now is was killing the family of 4 necessary for saving the millions of people, even if it wasn't a sinister way? And then he had to go to sacrifice himself. Because if that was mandatory to do it, then yes, it's effed up to say it was for a greater good to save millions. But then again, how do you describe the greater good? Like, the needs of needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few kind of scenario. But does that justify? Like, this is why. Oh, Knock at the Cabin. I believe that was the name of it. Where with Dave Bautista, where 4 people show up and they're the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, essentially. This is why I dislike that movie so fucking much. Because, first of all, you got to make a choice. Kill them or don't. Otherwise, people are going to die. Okay, I choose not to. Well, then people are going to die. No, God. That's not what you said. You said I had to make a choice or people would die. You didn't say I have to make a choice and kill him or people will die. You didn't say that. So right out the gate, that message was not well done at all. In that movie. Now, maybe I'm remembering that movie wrong. I just remember that pissing me off. But I also remember that just made, look, I'm not a very religious man myself. I have faith in more tangible things. That's not to say I don't believe in something. But it just makes me go, if God exists and he did this in real life, he's an absolute asshole. Absolutely, because all this is a test of faith. And it's like, why do you need to test us? Why? That's just so stupid. Like, tests of faith are in any sense, especially when it's like, Abraham, sacrifice your sons. Like, fuck you, no. Let the world burn for all I care. You're not making me do that. Unless your son's saying, like, no, Dad, do it. It's like, no, because that's stupid. And I need you to think for yourself on this, son. That's stupid. So, back to the point at hand. When does it become unredeemable? When does someone become unredeemable? Okay, it comes down to very simple. It comes down to this. It's the morality behind it. And what I mean by that is, do you have a moral compass? Do you feel any sort of guilt or pain for what you've done? Because if there is no empathy it's when there's a lack of empathy that someone becomes unredeemable. That's just it. So when there's a complete lack of disregard. That's why someone like Hitler is irredeemable. That's why someone like Pol Pot Saddam Hussein was irredeemable. When you are basically become a dictator who just will butcher people just because you want to or just because you want something, that's when you become unredeemable or irredeemable. Okay, what exactly was the Hogyuku turning Aizen into? If it was replacing his soul with what? Okay, this is the question we just will never have an answer to. It seems, though, based on how the Soul King himself kind of looks, it was morphing him into something akin to the Soul King. It wasn't going the exact route, but keep in mind, it wasn't like the progression of his evolution. It came from, if we really look at it, came from him being pushed to his limits, the Hogyuku reacting, because it's kind of like a wish granting stone, really. Hogyuku reacting to it. Then he evolving to this standard basic form of Aizen. But it turns out he's still kind of evolving, and he needed to be pushed past the brink again, which is when he turned into butterflies, as we call them. And then Ichigo pushed him past the brink one more time. And then he went into that weird Venom Hollow looking thing, which was still weird but cool. And then Ichigo kicked his ass again. And at that point, the Hogyuku stopped evolving Aizen. He wasn't, I can't remember. I believe he was fused with the Hogyuku at that point. They couldn't remove him. Or I believe it was the fact that I think they maybe, I can't remember this part, but I think they might have removed the Hogyuku. But because it didn't recognize him as his master anymore. And that's what it came down to. It just didn't recognize Aizen as his master anymore, or its master anymore. Ooh, that's a. I might have. Oh no, I got a little bit left. Hold on. Oh, ooh, that one. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I don't. You might think it was. The first thought when saying this, it was turning him into a. God, it's something akin to the Soul King. But the fact is, he was only transcending when you actually think about it and evolving into another form when he was pushed to his absolute limits. So yeah, no. Okay, we still got some questions left, but we're getting near the end here. Okay. Dennis Servin, hey Clockwork, good work as always, man. Thank you. Now's the questions, 1 to 12. God, you guys always do like 12. Who is your favorite character from Super Mario Brothers franchise? I actually say it's Knuckles or Silver. I like Shadow fine. Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking Sonic. My bad. Super Mario Brothers. Sorry, Super Mario Brothers. Oh, Super Mario Brothers. I didn't actually think about that. Maybe Bowser. I don't know. I don't play a lot of Mario, if I'm going to be honest. Do you have a favorite magic / supernatural sword from fiction, anime, or mythology? Okay, I'll go through one of each of these. Anime, the Zanpakuto. that's kind of a given. Mythology, though. God. The Tosca blade is not just a blade in Naruto. It is based off a thing in Japanese lore. So I'd go with the Tosca blade. And then in fiction in general, I'd lean towards probably some of the other things I just said. Yeah, the lightsaber's also cool. Have you watched Total Drama Island? No, I have not. Have you ever been on TV before? No, I have not. Do you look at some of the new isekai coming out this year? Do you look at some of the new isekai? No, I have not. I don't keep up with a lot of modern anime, unfortunately. With Naruto Wood release coming up in What If, are you excited to get... Oh, sorry. Naruto Wood release is coming up in What If. Are you excited? I know I'm excited for it. I'm enjoying myself with this What If because it really is giving us a different avenue in Naruto. He doesn't have wind release here. He's got water, earth, and wood. This means he's going to have different types of techniques. Also, Mega Senju is giving him a complete different kind of like background. Sure. So the question is, okay. What's your favorite animal? The snake is my favorite animal. Do you have a favorite Let's Play or walkthrough YouTuber that you watch? Mine is Mage Master 22. Player walkthrough. I like A-Drive when he does something like his ROM hack stuff. And I used to watch Markiplier too, to be fair. Congrats to Iron Lung, by the way. Do you miss school? I miss that time in my life when there were less responsibilities. I think that's what, and the socialization, all that. I miss that. So yeah. If you became a millionaire, what would be the first thing you'd buy? If I became a millionaire, like not my dad, I'm paying my house off. Giving dad a chunk to pay down the mortgage completely. That's what I'm doing. But if you're talking about like something, I'd probably just get a decent car. It doesn't have to even be like a super new car, just a decent car. Because I've always grown up as the working poor, I have an appreciation for money. So I'm not going to be stupid with it. And I might splurge here or there a little bit on some minor things. Okay, who are your top 2 female characters in Dragon Ball? Well, again, you're not giving me that much options, are you? 18 would be one, and I like Vados. I do like Vados. But it's got to be Bulma, let's be fair. Finally, do you like going bowling? I did for 12 years. I was quite good until I had to quit because of money issues and studies. I used to bowl on a league between the ages of like 12 or maybe like 10 to 13. I even got trophies upstairs. I do like bowling, but the problem is now as I get older, especially because I'm a righty, the knuckles in my two fingers right here. And maybe it's because I don't hold the ball right. It's entirely possible. But if I do like 2 or more frames, when I mean 2 more frames, I mean like 2 more games. That's frames are what they're called. The joints in my fingers are like on fire for weeks at a time afterwards because I've kind of like ruined the cartilage in my fingers there for a minute. Like normally I'm fine. Like unfortunately my knuckles crack on their own now, so that's probably not good. That's probably another reason it does it. But yeah, I used to. Yeah, I like bowling. Every once in a while, as long as my hands are up for it, I enjoy going bowling once in a while. I think my best score ever was like a 189. I always wish I could get over 200, but I didn't. Thanks for another 2 months of videos. I wish you the best. Thank you very much for your viewership as well. All right. We're reaching the end, folks. We are reaching the final stretch. So we're going to go up. Tecto King Shadow also says, if I were in Bleach, what would your sword spirit be and what would your ability be? I actually did a video on that. I did a Zanpakuto video on myself one point, so you can actually check that out. Needless to say, I can't remember what the spirit was. It might have been a weathered old man, but my ability would have been some sort of form of gravity manipulation. Parody of Ghost Ninja Yokai. What if you became friends? What would you do if you became friends with DC Booster Gold? Hang out with him, call him for help if I need be. You, not judging you, Ghost parodying Ninja Yokai, another person have been trying to get me to do these weird what ifs, and they're not what ifs. They're fanfic. Let's be frank, they're fanfic. I'm like, guys, you should know better. I'm not going to do this. Wait. It's sorry. So yeah, Diego Lorente, I did miss one from you. What kind of saw trap? I'm gonna just tell you right now. It doesn't matter what the saw trap is. Sorry. I'm just gonna skip right past it. Kynarth, the demon, asks one of 8. I have the shiniest meat bicycle reference. Anyway, I've got some questions for you, as always. Would Sanji Shikai work against Tozen? Now, are you saying Shinji or Sanji? Those are 2 different characters. Sanji is Komomora. I'm going to answer this in the form of Komomora. Surprisingly, you probably would, just because it creates this giant, large, freaking... So, Komomora's Bankai creates the giant, but Shikai actually creates the portions of the giant. And because they're so large, it probably would just tear through the dome. But seeing as you're not saying about work on Tozen in terms of Bankai, I think you might have meant Shinji with Sakanade. So Sakanade is not a visual thing. It affects the senses. It does. Sense of direction too. Tozen is blind, so the visual aspect of that wouldn't work. But the fact is, we also know that hearing can be affected. Shinji even says in the light novel that he's trying to work on reversing hot and cold. And that wouldn't stop the direction, like his sense of direction. Like he still reacts on instinct, depending where things are coming from. And if he's sensing, or hearing or listening, that would still affect him. If the incarnations of Indra and Asura had a child, could they get the 6th path chakra? First of all, that'd be weird because technically Sasuke and Naruto aren't related. But third of all, I don't think Ashura and Indra can. We've never seen them reincarnated as women. I don't know if those incarnations can be reincarnated as women, then I see no reason why they can't have a child. And then I'd actually have to guess yes, because you are mixing the DNA of the two. They'd almost guaranteed to get the Rinnegan. But that's assuming you can make a child from. It would have to be like an Orochimaru test tube baby kind of thing. Favorite chip flavor? Depends on the type of chip. If we're talking Doritos, I mean, I love the original Doritos, but Cool Ranch is kind of my jam. If we're talking about standard, like just kind of like a potato chip flavor, believe it or not, I do like a truffle, but I also like sour cream and onion a lot. But I also like a good barbecue. There's a lot of them I like, and cheese flavor ones. My favorite though would probably be sour cream. Is what I'd go with. Luke Cage, Iron Fist or Luke Cage in terms of who wins in a fight, or who do I like more? In terms of their show, Luke Cage was far the superior show, even though the latter half of the series kind of went lower. In terms of character, I'd still probably lean towards Luke Cage, if I'm honest. And who wins in a fight? Iron Fist can deal more damage than Luke Cage when he's going all out. But Luke Cage is just more naturally stronger and durable. What are your thoughts on the English via Madara maybe voicing Moro? If I remember Madara's voice right, yeah, that could work as Moro, but it would have to work as the younger version of Moro, as Moro gets his strength back. Older Moro has to sound grislier and old man like. That's the thing there. Could a Shadow Clone do the Shadow Shuriken Jutsu? I don't see why not. Uh, we see clones transform all the time. Thoughts on a Kryptonian Batman? I mean, it would quite frankly corrupt. Well, if he's Kryptonian, his parents might not even die that night. And if they do die, well, now you've got a kid with power, discovers that power, and probably would abuse that power, to be honest. We've seen whatever happens every time that Batman gets powers, it goes to his head. So it probably wouldn't go well. Hell, we saw in a what if where Green Lantern or Batman became Green Lantern. He overrode the Ring's inability to kill someone at that time. Hamburger or cheeseburger? Cheeseburger. 1000% cheeseburger. I want cheese on my burger. As always, thank you for being one of the best. Kainerith. You're welcome, Kainerith. Okay, we're down to our last three, folks. Down to the last three. Okay, 1 to 10 from Noble Chief. Let's go 10 questions. All right. Would you get Resident Evil 9 when it comes out? No, I don't play Resident Evil. I'm not a Resident Evil fan. Do you think Netflix could buy Warner Brothers DC? Oh, I think it's almost a lock they're going to get it. Yeah, Paramount has been trying, but those guys, the people running Paramount right now are asshats. They're complete asshats. I think it's going to go to Netflix, and the way they've been making it sounds like the best call. I would prefer them to stay separate, but I think it's the best call. How long do you think The Simpsons will continue? As long as the ratings keep saying people want to watch it, I think they'll keep coming. Now, realistically, they've been on for over 30 years now. Holy crap. I would realistically give them maybe another 10 years. What would your Mount Rushmore anti-heroes be? Deadpool, Lobo. Oh, God. Excuse me. Deadpool, Lobo, Spawn. You might say Punisher. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with Punisher. But yeah, I'll say Punisher for now. Have you watched The Sopranos? I have not watched The Sopranos. I'm very familiar with it, but I have not watched it. Your thoughts on the God of War remake for the original 3 games? I didn't play God of War either. Sorry. Thoughts on the God of War show? Hey, look, if I had Amazon, I'd watch it, but I don't. Same with Spider-Man Noir, but I would really want to watch Spider-Man Noir, probably even more so than God of War, if I'm going to be honest. I beat some guys up in a bar, and then I got plastered. Just the right level of cage. Your thoughts on Tombstone being a villain in the new Spider-Man movie instead of Kingpin because of the ownership of the character? I don't think that's the reason they're not doing Kingpin. They have Marvel characters in their Punisher and Hulk are going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Like that's not up for debate. The way Kingpin has been used, he makes much more sense being on the small screen than the big screen. The way he's been used. So that's really probably why they're doing that rather than going with Kingpin. And Tombstone is a crime boss also. We forget that. And he's got superpowers. He can't actually fight Spider-Man. Plus, people also theorize he's not. I've also heard theories that Mr. Negative is going to be in this film, and he might be the actual big bad. We also know Scorpion's going to be in this film, and so I know at least 2 villains are in this film. There's probably a third. Again, I've heard the theory being Mr. Negative. It's theorized that Sophie Turner. Is it Sophie Turner? Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. We might get a rampaging Hulk at some point in this movie. And we know the Punisher. We got a lot of people in this movie, man, in terms of like named characters. So yeah. Okay. And do you think that the Z Warriors could survive the Doom invasion, as in Doom the series? Yeah. No, they could survive. No problem. Honestly, if we're talking about the Z Warrior, Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta, and Gohan all are universal, multi-personal level threats. But we'll say, well, they gotta survive hell. It's like, Goku literally shook an infinite void. You know what infinite means? Means forever. And he shook it. His power shook an infinite spatial dimension. So can we get, man? There are like several groups of people who who I'm not saying their universes are weak, but who overhype their universes so hard sometimes. Doomverse, I think, is one of them. And then 40K. Oh my God, Mark's a 40K fan. And yeah, no, Morty K, 40K, yeah. No, 40K, man. They guys, I'm not saying your worst is a week. I need to be very clear about that. But I think you love your fandom so much, you want it to be the best. You want it to be the big boy on the block. So, yeah, that's just my quick thought on that. All right, Geo Knuckles. Digimon gave us some new evolutions from Monojamon, Rafamon, and Azardramon, Darmon, and a new Mega that finally fits Triceramon, Styrakomon. And I like to see Digimon partners for Say, Lori, Gundam Fires, and Rico. Well, okay. I told you this is not the place to give suggestions. I'm not going to do it at some point. Just, yeah. Yeah. The problem is, for some people, for some characters, that's easier said than done. All right. My voice is kind of going. Last one for this Q&A. Did I get under 2 hours this time? I got it under 2 hours. F yeah. I'm the master. All right, the master of gaming. Poignant. Okay, 1. Do I think either Lionsgate or Paramount will be the most profitable studio in 2026? With movies like I Can Only Imagine 2, Michael, The Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping for Lionsgate, Scream 7, the Billie Eilish concert, Scary Movie 6, Passengers, Paw Patrol, the Dino movie, Street Fighter, and the Angry Birds movie. The answer is neither of these are going to be the highest, most profitable studio this year. Not even close. Last year, Lionsgate, I think, barely is able, thanks to Housemaid, crawl over the profitable margin. Barely. Paramount does not have a strong lineup this year. They do not. I believe Screen 7 is from Paramount, so they do have that going for them. And it's probably going to make a decent little bit of money. I'm actually probably not. I thought I was going to see it tonight. I'm actually probably going to go see If My Girlfriend's Up for it. Good luck, have fun, don't die tonight. We wanted to see that recently, and we couldn't. But Passengers is not going to be a huge money maker. Honestly, of all these from Paramount, Angry Birds and Street Fighter are the only ones that even stand a chance of making over $100 million. As for Lionsgate, however, I can only imagine 2. I already can tell you that we've seen what that's going to make. It's not going to make a lot. Michael, though, has the potential to be a billion-dollar film. Hunger Games, the last one still made over $300 million. Barely made a profit, but still did that. So, at least I believe Screen 7 is not Lionsgate, is it? Screen 7. Who's doing it? I'm pretty sure it's Paramount, isn't it? It's a Paramount property. All right, let's see here now. Spyglass. Yeah, it's Paramount. Yeah, no, that's Paramount. Okay. 2. Is it okay if I make my own Who Would Win videos? Yeah, no, I don't own Who Would Win. I'm not. Shocker. I am not the first one to bring up the idea of doing a versus video series. You are more than welcome to do your own versus video series. So by all means, do your own Who Would Win series. Okay, and finally, the last question of this Q&A is Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man Brand New Day, I think you meant are they too big to fail? Like, are they such big movies that it's just not possible for them to fail? Okay, that's a twofold question. If we're talking about financially, yeah, I think they're too big to fail when it comes to financially. I think they're going to do fine. Doesn't matter where we're putting Doomsday or we're putting Spider-Man. They're both almost certainly billion-dollar. Well, Doomsday's a guaranteed billion-dollar film. Spider-Man's coming off of a 4th movie, the last movie, which made almost $2 billion. They're both making $1 billion. Doomsday's easily a contender for $2 billion as well. So financially, they're not too big. They're far too big to fail. Reaction. It all comes down to the quality of the movie, though. All comes down to that, though. In that respect, they're not too big to fail. No movie in that respect is too big to fail. Oh, there's been movies that looked great that we thought were too big to fail, and then, or that looked great, but then they failed. They did. Look at Craven. The trailers for Craven looked great. They also some when a man comes around. There's a man going around taking names like that. Johnny Cash with that trailer. That was a badass trailer. Unfortunately, fucking lied to us in the trailer. So like, I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with this live action reboot of the Spider-Verse. I hope they maybe continue with the Null storyline and lead up to Null. But more importantly, I think they just never had a coherent idea for what they wanted to do with the verse as a connective verse. And so they were just trying to sell us on crap for after a while. With the Venom movies being the only thing that was actually profitable for them. Think about that. So with that said, they are not too big to fail when it comes to. Sorry, they're too big to fail when it comes to financially, I think. They'll be fine. But we do still have to wait and watch these films because we have seen movies, Marvel movies that we thought were going to be good and they weren't. Or they were lesser. Like Thor, like again, the early eras of Iron Man 2 and Thor Love and Thunder, or Thor Dark World. God, Thor Love and Thunder kind of makes us yearn for that. And honestly, yeah, I mean, Thor Love and Thunder is a perfect example of, no, this looked good. This was, for me, I can still like it. I enjoy it for what it is. But it is the weakest Thor movie, and that's a Thor movie. That's a group of films that include Dark World, which is just kind of a bleh film. Terrible villain. At least Gore is a decent villain, just not utilized properly. But that being said, everything we've heard about Doomsday, and like the word's apparently out on Doomsday. Like I don't actively look for Doomsday spoilers. I don't, because I want to be as surprised as I can be about Doomsday. But there are people who know what's going to happen in Doomsday, and apparently it's going to be fucking epic. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's all about the execution. Spider-Man: Brand New Day. We also have heard about what the trailers look like for this movie as well. And we're gonna have to just wait and see. But no, they're not too big to fail when it comes critically or personal enjoyment wise. I do think they're too big to fail financially. I think they will make their money back, no problem. Anyway, I digress. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys for the next Who Would Win tomorrow, along with Pokemon Day. Looking forward to that. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.